live, everybody. We are live with another session of Good Trouble. Good Trouble is a podcast with students from Voorhees College. We have some CPI ambassadors, and I hope that you are ready to engage in another conversation. And so let me get some stuff done on our end. But as you're coming in, please just share this with somebody and tell them that Good Trouble is on right now. Come on in, people. Come on in. From Voorhees family, wherever you're watching from, come on in. We're just trying to make sure everything is looking good on our end before we start our conversation. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Just one more minute. Trying to make sure our video is looking proper on this other end. One more minute and we're going to start our discussion for the day. But as you're coming in, let us know how you're doing, where you're calling in from. And don't forget, I think Kamaya may address this later. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Good Trouble Podcast. One more minute. All right, so let's do this. Let's go through some introductions. And so my name is Demetrius Dude. I'm the coordinator of experiential learning, and we have some phenomenal panelists today. And I'm not sure if you know them already, but they are here and they have some information that I think is going to definitely stir up some things in us. So that's who I am. Osaya, let's go through your introduction. Genesis, Kamai, and then Cheyenne.
Hey, how's everyone doing? My name is Osaya Rivers. I am currently a junior at Voorhees College, majoring in child development. And like the late, great John Lewis said, if you're going to get in any trouble, let it be good trouble.
Hi, I'm Genesis. I'm a psychology major at Voorhees, and I'm a junior.
Hello, my name is Kamaya. I am from Washington, D.C. I'm a sophomore at Voorhees College, and my major is business administration. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to our channel.
Hello, I'm Cheyenne Blakeney. I am a senior at Voorhees College studying child development.
All right, so let's now talk about some of our COVID-19 guidelines. And so every time we start this discussion, we want to make sure that we're informing the people on how to stay safe because COVID-19 is a real thing. So Cheyenne, take it away for us.
Here's some safety guidelines, don't forget to wear your mask. Always wear your mask. Stay 6 feet back. I don't want you on my neck. You stink. Wear gloves. Disinfect your surfaces. Pine Sol is also good, as well as Lysol and bleach. If you're sick, stay home. If you're around somebody sick, please stay quarantined for 2 weeks and stay away from people that are sick. And also, it is real. As you know, your own president and his wife now has COVID-19. So please stay safe. And that is it with your COVID-19 safety guidelines.
So usually you say period after that, but you changed it. So I think I got used to you saying period, but it's cool. Let's talk about some stuff today, man. I think today we have a very good conversation, and I think that's relevant, right? The topic for today is the current state of our community. And so when we think about the current state of our community, there are so many things that can be addressed, right? From the Black Lives Matter movement to Black on Black crime to the misinformed Black people about education. There are a plethora of things that we can talk about. But we want to start here. Osaya, since March, we've kind of seen this thrust of like the Black Lives Matter movement, right? We've seen some positives and we've seen some negatives. And I think we may have gotten to a spot where we lost the initial goal for the movement. And so, in your opinion, let's talk about that for a moment. Let's talk about the Black Lives Matter movement, and let's talk about the importance of voting locally too. If you can cover that.
Yeah. So me personally, I know this is probably not going to go like over well, but me personally, I can't get down with the whole Black Lives Matter movement myself, mainly because I think it's lost like what its core meaning was supposed to be, in a sense. Like now, I can't associate with it because it's very hypocritical in my opinion, and it like spews like anti-police and anti like people rhetoric in general. And what do I mean by that is it's only spewing out when it's a white cop and a black person most of the time. Generally, that's fair to say. It's generally spewing out white cop, black man, white cop bad, all cops bad, don't like cops. That's generally the what's going on right now, and I just think that's false. Like 100%, I think that's false. And my biggest issue with them is they come with such high energy, such passion when it's like that situation, but when it comes to a different situation, 11-year-old girl getting shot and killed, I don't see anything. There's no justice for so and so, nothing like that. So I just don't like the energy that they give out only on certain situations. It doesn't sit right with me personally, and I just don't get down with them. And the biggest thing I think that people can do to change what's going on is going to vote, not just in the November 3rd election, because that's all anybody's seen that wants to talk about. But we're not talking about how even if Biden gets elected, the House and the Republicans still have the Senate. If I'm not mistaken, they still have the Senate. So either way, Biden gets elected. All that's going to happen is a bunch of vetoes. That's what happened when Obama was in office because they had the House then too, if I'm not mistaken. So everyone wants to say change this and change that, but they only want to vote in the big presidential election. You still have the same leaders in place in your states that have been leaders for 20, 30 plus years, still doing the same thing. And it's just like laws need to change in general. And one big example of that is the whole Breonna Taylor case. You have a state in Kentucky that issues no knock warrants, justifiable no knock warrants, but you also have a state that has a stand your ground law too. So those two things, like it's sad to say that somebody lost their life in situation, but it was bound to happen. Like those two things just don't go together. You can't have the police being able to just come into your house and have a stand your ground law too. Something has to give. So it's just, and not a lot of people are aware of that. So I think going to vote and educating yourself on the laws in your own state is the biggest thing. Because what Trump and Biden, what they talk about, eat, do whatever they're going to do, it's not really going to affect you. Your local government is what's going to affect you.
So it sounds like, just to kind of piggyback off of your initial response, it sounds like we have possibly lost some accountability when it comes to the Black Lives Matter movement. It sounds like we've lost some responsibility as well. It kind of has gotten far among us, and I think in those things happening, right? And maybe on both ends. Yes, there are people that are being antagonized or attacked, but we also need to be accountable for our actions. And so I think in being accountable for our actions, right? I think the next thing that we literally can address is how can we be more accountable if we're not talking about the black on black crime in our communities? Right. And so Cheyenne, let's talk about that for a moment. Let's talk about how we may need to address that and the importance of it.
I just feel like we fight for like people to be on our side or whatnot, like with the whole police killing black people, and what mainly is like white police officers that's killing black people. And so they choose to pick on that situation, but they're not really looking inside of the community and taking the time to think like, what about black on black crime? Because it's like a lot of black on black crime, and it's like if you can't respect yourself, then or each other, like within your race, then who's going to respect your race?
Yeah.
And like we expect younger generation to look up to us and for us to be role models, but it's like we can't even fill those shoes because we still stuck to the street mentality, or some people are stuck to the street mentality and just feel like they have to be a gangbanger to survive in their community.
Yeah, I would like what another thing too. Like people they focus on the cops and stuff, but just I always say Chicago because that's like something everybody knows. And on the average weekend in Chicago equals three. I was doing research earlier. It was like 3 or 4 years of police shootings only involving black people. Just one weekend in Chicago equals 3 years of police shooting black black males. So that's like I think what it was like September 7th weekend. They had a record 104 shootings in a single weekend. Of 104 shootings, I think 14 were dead. Among them were an 8-year-old, a 3-year-old, and two 16-year-olds. So it's like they weren't killed by white police officers. They were killed by fellow black people around their age, or So
There has to be more accountability, right?
yes.
Before we're looking on the outside, it literally has to be more accountability. But let's look on the outside for a minute, because Osaya, you just took us from South Carolina now to Chicago. Let's go to DC. Let's talk about police brutality in that area. Let's talk about how it may be a little bit different for African Americans because of their community and the police. So Kamaya, let's talk about that for a moment. Tell us about some of your experiences and just how you can give us some feedback on that.
Okay, so what I'm gonna talk about is, how DC is and stuff like that. um,
Okay, we can't hear you, so it's fine.
I was gonna talk. Can you come back to me? I'm
Yes,
sorry.
I can. So look, that's good, Kamai. We're gonna come back to you, but I think while we're talking about police brutality, it is, I guess, so important, right? That let's talk about, if there's police brutality going on, let's talk about the training.
Yes.
Is there enough training? Is it too short, Genesis? Is it too long? Should we increase it? Who's giving this training? Are the people almost infants when they come out carrying guns? Genesis, let's talk about the training. You tell me about it.
Okay, there are no federal guidelines that require a certain amount of time for police training. And the guidelines that they do have can range from 3 weeks to 9 months. And even then, that's still not enough training. Most cosmetologists have more training than police officers that are actually put out into the field. And most who are put out on the field are out there on a probationary training.
Wait. Say that one more time.
Which one?
Most cosmetologists, say that statement one more time.
Cosmetologists have more training than police officers.
Wow. All right, continue.
And with that brings the police officers and you can't train somebody who doesn't have any formal training. So you have officers who have been on the field for at least 10, 15 years that are having to train other officers that are coming out of the police academy still wet behind the ears. Because when you go into the police academy, you expect to be trained for something that you don't really have a guideline to be trained for. There's no formal training to be done. It's more of, you send them in, they need to know what the situation is, how to handle the situation, and then they get sent out on the street. But it's more than just textbook. They're not being taught other things outside of that.
Gotcha.
I also think with that though, it's hard. Like you can train and you can, emphasize situations. You can simulate, being held at gunpoint and somebody holding a gun at you. But until you're actually in that, like you can train, but at the end of the day, you're in your training. Nothing's gonna happen to you in training. It's way different when you're out in the street and Tommy 2 times over here don't care, really does not care that you have a wife and 3 kids at home. He doesn't care at all. So I think, yeah, more training, you can always do more training, always, cultivate your mind even more. But I feel like there's no real training that you can do for the police job. You can know the laws, know what you should do in a situation, and honestly, the only way you can train for it is being in the situation in real life.
Yeah.
Like, if we want to
It's
be
not
real,
the amount of
because
training; it's the
you can't
way
train
that
for it. You can't train for somebody pointing a gun on you and shooting you 8 times. You can't train for that.
No, but you can do sensitivity training, which most police officers don't have. They don't have the necessary training to understand how to properly deal with the situation. There's no de-escalation tactics, none.
I feel like
There's only and
Go ahead, Jen.
go ahead.
I feel like they're only there for the money. They're not really there, so much for like the job. They're only there for the money. Like for example, um, how they say DC is its own city. It's not a state. DC is a city outside of Maryland, and they're making more money than people in like Chicago or Connecticut, Detroit. They're making more, so they're more so looking at the money and not looking at, oh, I need to save my people. Like an example, we had a situation going on in DC where it was this young boy. It was the police officer got a call about 4 boys in a car, and they had guns. So the police is already nervous. He's already nervous, so he grabs his gun. He gets to the scene. Police already he grabs his gun first. First thing, so you could tell he already nervous. They had a body camera and everything. He was nervous. He grabs the gun first and he goes towards the boy. He starts running. So the boy's running. The police is running right behind him. So as soon as the police get up on him, he said that the boy had a gun. I couldn't tell you if he didn't. But the police said the boy had the gun. Now tell me this, if the boy had the gun, you shoot him, why are you turning around looking and saying, where's the gun? If the gun is in his hand, that's what you're saying. You said the gun was in his hand. Why did you turn around and say, oh, I think he threw it 100 yards? That boy can't throw no gun 100 yards. If you said you seen the gun right then and there, that's why you pulled your gun out for your safety, then why are you turning around looking for the gun? I think I seen the gun is here, the gun is there. That doesn't make sense to me. I feel as though he needs more training because he doesn't have the training that he was supposed to get. Because he's so pressed for the money, and I'm not worried about, let me save my people. Addition to that, some police officer now made it about the money as opposed to concern about the safety of our people. And I was saying I did some research, and I know that in police officers in DC make 100K. They're gonna go to DC because they know, okay, they're making 100K. I need the money, so that's why they're doing it. And not only that, there's now times where policemen may pull someone over and say, hey, I give you $500 to $1,000 to get this ticket off. You know what I'm saying? So they're not more so doing their job. They're more so here, just for the job. They're not trying to save us. They're not protecting us. They're not protecting our country. They're not doing none of that. All they're doing is just torturing us, beating us, and killing us. That's what they're doing. And that's why people don't respect police officers now, because what you look at, a black man, a white dude, the white cop shot the black dude. So, and I was watching a movie also, and I seen this. It's called Tales on BT, and they switched it up. So you know how you see a black cop, a white cop kill a black person. They switched it to the black people being the cops, and then the white people in the hood. So they swapped it so they can understand really how police really treat us out here. That's all I had to say. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. And I think we may have to do a part 2 of this because I'm enjoying the inspiration that y'all are having today and just the excitement for the conversation. However, we have a guest that we need to bring on camera because I think that he can definitely talk about the current state of our community as one of the leading voices for our campus. So if you can, Mr. Denzel Walls, please come on, please, sir, if you don't mind. Oh,
Hey, everybody.
Mr. Voorhees, please introduce yourself, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Denzel Walls. I'm a senior business administration major from Springfield, Georgia, and I am the seventh Mr. Voorhees College.
So now I'm actually going to put it in uh, these great podcasters' hands, and they're going to ask you some questions, Denzel, and engage with you. So Osaya, Cheyenne, Kamaya, Genesis, y'all take it away.
All right, what's going on, Mr. Denzel? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing great, man. I have a question for you. My question for you is, how have you been taking all this thing? Because I know you're really big in the community, and you're involved. What is your take on everything? And what exactly are you doing to try to help persuade and lead our community in a better way?
Great question. So during the pandemic, I was a part of two Black Lives Matters protests. Um, they're very inspirational for me. And what I've been doing is I've been encouraging my friends to register and get ready to vote because I believe that's where we can make the most change. Um, I'm a firm believer that the change starts with you. You can't wait on other people to change things. You have to start it in yourself. That's the only way we're going to see change in this country. And it's not just about what y'all touched on earlier. It's not just about voting for the president. It's about your local officials, Congress, the House, all that, all these things that we need to fix so we can get what we need. Um, but yes, I've been very active with the Black Lives Matters community. And I'm just encouraging people. It starts with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people I also like to encourage people. I'm sure you do too. To do your own research. I don't like how people just go off what somebody popular says. I like to do my own research and do that kind of stuff too. But also, I have another question for you. How important exactly is leadership for you, and what are things that you've done to become a great leader? Because you're a great speaker. I see you in school all the time. You know how to talk to people. So how have you become a great leader?
I think it's a thing we all have heard. You have one mouth with two ears. So a part of being a good leader is listening to others and hearing people out. I think in order to be a good leader, you have to be a servant first. So before you take a leadership role, you need to learn how to serve under people. And I think what I've done is with my mentors, just picking what they've done and just learning, seeing what people do, what they do wrong. And one of my biggest inspirations is LeBron James. So I say him because I'm similar to him because during my life I've had great expectations. And dealing with expectations, in my opinion, is a lot harder than when no one is believing in you. Because when you deal with expectations, when you do something good, you don't really get a pat on your back. You get, you know,
You're
you're
supposed to do
expected to
that.
do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I can't name another person who's dealt with expectations like he has. So I look at people
Yeah.
like him for inspiration. Then on campus, look at people like Dr. Hopkins, Dr. Evans, Mr. Hickman, all these people having had a great impact on me. Mr. Wright, Miss
Mhm.
Freeman, who was my mentor when I first came on the campus, have groomed me and believed in me to get to this point.
Gotcha.
I
Okay,
got a
so
question for you.
taking on that big leadership role of being Mr. Voorhees, what made you want to be or no push to be Mr. Voorhees? Like,
Well, since I came to Voorhees, when I first heard there was a Mr. Voorhees, I knew automatically like I want to represent this school. Like when I'm winning, it was a dream come true. But in winning, it's not just I want to use my platform as y'all's platform. I want to because of the things I've done during my matriculation in college. I want to be able to help others get higher and get to places they never thought they would be. I want to inspire others.
okay. So, like, what things did you have to do to get into that, like, into the process? Like, what process did you have to go through to become
I,
Mr.
I,
Voorhees?
similar to what I told Osaya just now, just with my mentors, just learning, getting to know them, and seeing what they think this campus is, what we need, Um, when I go to these different conferences, I'm with other campuses kings, and I'm learning and picking like, okay, y'all are doing this in y'all campus. I think we could do that here. And the process, I mean, it was tough. It's a lot of like self doubt. It's like, do I really want to do this? Am I prepared for it? But I have a strong belief system with my family, and through it all with my family, my friends, and people I look up to, I was able to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh, so I don't know if this. I heard you went to where'd you go to? West Africa or like Liberia?
Went to Liberia, yes sir.
Liberia. How did that experience change your whole perspective? I know seeing where your roots from hundreds of years ago, where they originated from. How did going back there, seeing that impact you today?
It changed like your perspective, or my perspective on life. Seeing, you hear about poverty in the US, people living in the
Yeah.
street or whatever. But when you go to a place when they're having to live like that, where there's no opportunity, like they all better. We go to the orphanage in the schools and we're talking to them, and they're telling us that they want to be nurses, doctors, teachers, and all that, and they need sponsors. In America, we don't have to worry about a sponsor. It's, for the most part, it's on us. And just seeing what I saw, it inspired me. Eventually, I want to go back and donate um, to those families, to those. It just really touched me. It makes you look at life. It makes you not want to take anything for granted because of how fortunate we really are.
Yeah. Also, while you were over there, I found out that you met the first woman president, right, of Liberia.
Hmm.
How did that? Because I know we've still yet to have one here in the U.S. Obviously, closest one was Hillary last. Last in 2016, right? Yeah, that was the last time that we even got close to that. So how does seeing like a woman president, especially a black woman president of a whole country, how did that?
So I met the first female president, and then I met their current vice president, who was also a black female. And just, I love black women. I love the empowerment of black women. I love going to see just black women in places of power. As hard as the plight is for a black man, the plight of a black woman is a whole nother, just another altitude. So seeing something like that, I mean, it's great. It was inspiring. Hopefully, if I have a daughter, if I'm blessed to have a daughter, I will encourage her to take leadership roles, because women are not encouraged to do things like that. But I think definitely a woman can lead this country. I believe it will happen. Hopefully, President Trump wins and Kamala Harris will be the great vice president that she has the potential to be. And yes, it was very inspiring.
Got you.
I have a
Anybody else
question.
have
Was
any more
you
questions?
Yeah. Was you nervous for running? Was you nervous for running for Mr. Voorhees in this virtual phase?
Yeah, yes, I was nervous because like I don't really know. I didn't really know how it was gonna work. It's one thing to be on campus and you see people. We would have pageants and different events for me to talk to everyone, but to do it virtually, there's certain people I couldn't even reach. So it really, luckily for me, I did the groundwork for running for Mr. Voorhees while I was on campus. So I would display myself as a good leader, as a good person on campus. So when it was time to vote, despite me not being able to reach everyone, a lot of people already knew who I was and what I was about.
Yeah.
But it was a nerve-wracking thing.
Yeah. Oh, well, my bad. It's a little weird trying to figure out when everybody's stopping it. But when did
Okay.
what creativity went into your campaign?
A lot. So virtually, uh, I was tasked with creating a video. I never had to do a campaign video or anything like that before. And then it's like, how do you stand out? So if everyone has to do a video, how can Denzel make his video stand out from the rest? So um, I had some help with family and friends, but um, I wanted to make sure uh, my video stood out. And then when I did my flyers, I did the magazine style cover. I don't know if y'all seen my flyers, but it was like
Yeah, I do.
edition one magazine, Mr. Voorhees College. So I just tried my best to stand out because I know it would be really easy to just fall into everybody posting the same thing. And I
Right.
had little different strategies. So.
Right. Okay. I think we're at our time limit. Actually, do you have anything else you want to say before we end?
I do. I want to touch on a few of the topics y'all were talking about earlier, especially the black on black crime piece. I want people to know that a lot of what you see is systemic. When you put people, uh, you put people in a low opportunity areas where they don't see the other side. They don't. There's no opportunity. There's little money. They're all scrapping and fighting for the same thing. I mean, things are going to happen. People are going to do what they have to do to survive. Now, I don't think black on black violence is okay. I don't think any violence is okay. But let's instead of blaming the black people, let's look at they're in these projects, why they're there, why can't they leave these projects? It's a system for why we're here or why they're like that, in my opinion. And with the Black Lives Matter movement, I think I mean, I agree that now I want to see, okay, a lot of people donate money. I want to see what that money goes to. But
Yeah. Yeah,
when
definitely.
you,
I was gonna say that's I wish people would stop putting. I didn't mean to cut you off, by the way, too. I'll let you finish. But I just wish people would stop, giving all these monies because these people, they just give out money to Black Lives Matter. They're not. A lot of people aren't even seeing the dividends of it in their own community. I wish people would put that same type of money, those thousands and hundreds of millions of dollars. The Black Lives Matter, I think they're at like 2 billion now, or some crazy number like that. That money go directly into their own communities instead of a broad thing, because you want to fix your own community. You all that money, no one's really seeing it. If we're going to be real about it, no one's. They got all these campaigns and stuff to get who they want in the office type thing. But I just wish that money was focused more in their own specific area.
yeah, I agree. But I think the matter is important because we are black people. We always show compassion for others. We've always stuck out for others. Now it's time for that love to be reciprocated. And when you see the senseless killing of unarmed black people, it's just there's no place for that. Um, I think they need to be retrained. Police officers need to be retrained.
Yeah.
I think killing should be a last resort. A lot of times, especially most of these videos, you see more than one police officer, and you can't tell me that someone who's gone through training, a group of people who've gone through training, can't control or arrest someone without using deadly force. You can't explain that to me. And then Genesis made a great point talking about the training it takes longer to be a cosmetologist. Think about every other important profession and the time it takes to get to be there. And you look at a police officer, they're supposed to serve and protect. They're very important. They're more important than a cosmetologist. They're more important than these different professions, but you can go do that in less than a year.
Yeah, I was just gonna tell you, I was just in a situation the other day. I had a cop come over. A dude had I was in his blind side. I guess he can see me. He scraped my car. It was just a little bit. It wasn't nothing. Like I wiped it off. Like it didn't even make a dent on my car. But the cop. It was a cop in front of us, so he stopped and took the report. And when the police actually came, they pulled up the dude. I can tell he was. You can tell when someone's new at something just by the way that they're standing, how they talking, and all that. I was talking. I was like, "Oh, you're just fresh out of the academy, right?" And he was like, "Oh, bro, I haven't even been yet." So they have a man with a gun and a taser, handcuffs, able to make arrests, and he hasn't been to the academy yet. And it's just, I think there needs to be more police reform and less talk of defunding the police, because that's only going to make situations worse, in my opinion.
And they also need to watch who they're hiring too, because some people just, like I said before, some people just doing it because it's the money. They're not really trying to save the community or even trying to help. They're just doing it
I
for the
agree.
money.
And I think a problem is we have people who've never been in these communities coming to police these communities. If you don't know how Black people operate or this community operates, then when
Right.
you see certain things happen, you're gonna be nervous. You're gonna be shook. You're gonna want to grab your gun quickly. So I think
Yeah.
it's a lot to go into it. I agree. Maybe defunding might not be the way, but retooling and just
Yeah.
redoing it is so much.
Yeah. I know we're gonna end here soon. I was gonna say that's gonna be my biggest goal when I start this whole policing career. That's gonna be my goal. I want to change my community and stop people having this one perception of cops and cops having one perception of the people they're policing, instead of everyone coming together and finding common ground. Because at the end of the day, we're all humans, we're all Americans, we all live in this prior to contrary belief, we all live in this great country where everyone, you know, you do right, you get ahead, you study, you do all the right things. You can do anything you want in this country. But yeah, that's me my biggest thing. I want to end with, what encouragement do you have for your colleagues and peers during this pandemic?
Uh, okay, that's great. I want to say that if this pandemic has proved anything to you, that no matter the circumstances, no matter the situation, you can push through. You can make it. There's nothing too hard. You can get through it. I also want to say, I know it seems like every week, every month, there's something new, whether it's someone you love dying, whether it's another innocent Black life being taken. Um, I know it's tough, but mental health is important. We got to stay together. We can do this. Remember, the change starts within you. If you want to see better, you have to do better. Encourage your friends. Go out and vote. Osai said earlier, don't believe everything you hear. Don't, really don't. Research. Understand that you're in a country who was built not for us. It was built on our backs, but it was not built for us. So understand that there's a lot of things set up against you, but we can do it. We've gotten so far and we have a long way to go, but together we can.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Mr. Walls. Definitely got to have you back, because I think we should do a part two to
Oh
this,
man,
because
I would
I don't
love
even
to.
think that we really got into a lot of what we even wanted to talk about, especially in our meetings. We've had hour-long meetings, so I think we definitely could do a part two to this. It was great having you,
Great
Mr.
to be here.
Deuce.
Yes, I would love to be back.
All right. I think Mr. Deuce is gone. Well, we appreciate y'all coming on to the Good Trouble podcast. Y'all stay safe out there. Have a blessed one.